Okay, fine.
I'll just create it with organization. Give you a grouping name, what you have selected. Is it SIC again or a different one?
No, sir. Different one, sir. D3.
D3.
Yes.
This one or
Not group, sir. Group of accounts.
D3? Okay, wait, let's see. This is the one, right?
Yes. This is where I'm not getting that all zeros, sir.
But here by default it's coming, right? When I'm trying to see. In front of you only, I've selected it.
Yes.
It's there.
From organization, you have gone to
I've
in
gone to
organization.
that. I have just selected transaction code BP, and I've just selected your grouping, whatever told, and by default
Okay.
00 is coming.
Okay, sir. After this, what do I do, sir?
I'm just saying. So I think I've taken extra. I don't know the number, but I'll just try to see that message what it comes. Okay. Let me try saving. It will give me a message. It says BP 90402 is created. Now
Yes,
go
sir.
to it's now go to change mode and select the role FLVN00. What you want try to create FLVN FFF.
No, it's on top, sir. It's on. Yeah, yeah.
Now you select your company code and you should be able to create it.
Okay.
SIC only, right? Or different
No, sir. DLA.
PLA.
DLA.
PLA.
D. DELA, sir.
Okay, one minute.
Yes, that's the one.
But why this is coming? Give with the recon account whatever you have not defined it. You can
Yes.
define and then you should be able to see.
Okay, okay.
So so yesterday, so let me just check if people, yeah, the
Thank you,
team
sir.
is there. Yeah, no issues, yeah, there. So yesterday we were in the between of, I mean, we started the withholding tax configuration. We'll just quickly go through all the steps which are covered and then we'll start again. So as I said, the withholding tax, again the settings are defined at the country level and not at the company code level. So the first step is we define the withholding tax procedure for our country. So that is our first step. So check withholding tax countries. This is our first step. So since there is already an entry for will not do anything. So this is the country IN, withholding tax country IN, and this distribution is IN India. So this is our first step. So we define the withholding tax at the country level. Then we define the withholding tax keys. Withholding tax key is nothing but under which section you will be deducting These sections are given by our income tax department. So under which section you will be deducting the withholding tax. So if there's a new section is there, you will come and it will add the new entry here. So we call this official tax keys. Official tax keys. So these again, this is already there. If you want to create your own dummy one, you can create it your own, and then you can test it out. So for our purpose, I've created one 194Z, which is coming for commission and brokerage. So we'll see the set. We will see how the system would compute the withholding tax. We also define the recipient type. Recipient type is nothing but who is receiving that rent or that brokerage or commission. So whether that vendor is a company or is an individual or a partner or a partnership firm or who is that. So we define the same thing. Withholding tax T1, I think. Yeah. So we define these ones. So we have company, individual, partnership, and others. So you can differentiate whether if you're paying to a company, you will be selecting the recipient type as T1. We will link up this recipient type in the BP master data. So from there we'll understand that whether that recipient is a company, individual, or partnership firm or others. So whatever the recipient you define here, we will be linking that. We will be defining that. We'll be linking this recipient type in the BP master data. Uh, uh, that would be end user part. So this is also we defined yesterday. Next is income types. Income types is nothing but whether we define whether okay, let it come. Whether it's the commission, brokerage, rent, professional fees. You will defining the income types here, and when we create a withholding tax code, we'll be linking this this income type there. So today when we create this brokerage and commission which were defined there, which will be assigned there. So here we define the income types, and this is more used on the reporting purpose. Then yesterday we also defined the business place and the section code. Business place is nothing but your VAT registration code. That is where you are doing the business. If you have multiple business places across the state or across the districts, you will be defining one business place each. So in our case, you have defined only one T001 business place. Similarly, you'll be defining this section codes. Section code is nothing but where you'll be remitting the TDS amount or the income tax amount which you have deducted. So here we link up the section code and the business place. We define initially the section code and we'll be linking it to the business place. You can define multiple section codes also and multiple business place. So till here we have covered it. And after that we have defined the withholding tax type. That is the most important thing. So withholding tax type, if you have for invoice posting and payment postings. So what the law says that if you do any advance postings or invoice, whichever is earlier. For example, if you without invoicing also, if you make an advance payment, for that advance payment also you have to deduct the withholding tax. So in that case, we'll use the withholding tax type for payment postings. But if it's a regular transaction, we'll be using the withholding tax type for invoice posting. So initially we are doing only for invoice posting. Once we are comfortable with invoice posting, we'll also see the invoice withholding tax type of payment posting. So how we can define this withholding tax type of payment posting. So initially we are only covering withholding tax type for invoice posting. So yesterday we defined the withholding tax type that is T1. So whenever you define withholding tax type, we specify what would be the base amount. So this is similar to that tax procedure. We also define the base amount, and then on that the system would be computing it. So here also we are specifying on which amount you want to calculate. So I'm selecting gross amount. That is on the total vendor invoice amount. I'm telling system to compute the withholding tax. This is the rounding up rule. So whenever the withholding tax gets computed, whether you want to round it up or round it down, or how it should be done. So if you select this radio button, withholding tax commercial roundup, if it is a point 0.4, if the decimal value is less than 0.5, it would be rounding up to less. If it is 5 and more than that, it will be rounding up. So example, if the withholding tax amount is 100.4, system will take it as, it will read it as 100. But if it is 100.5 or 100.6, the system would read the value as 111. So that is, through that will this is the rounding rule. Accumulation. Accumulation is used where we specify the value that if only if this value is exceeded, then only the system should compute the withholding tax. In that cases, we use this accumulation type. So if you so in this case, I'm not using a non selecting as non no accumulation, but we'll also see a scenario where we tell the system to accumulate it, and then once the threshold is reached, then only the system would compute the withholding tax. So that is the purpose of this accumulation type. Control is nothing but if you want the business users to change the withholding tax amount or the number or the base, then we have to select these indicators. Then the business users at the time of document posting, they can change the withholding tax amount. So we'll see this also at the time of document posting. And also we can maintain the minimum and the maximum amounts at either at the tax code level or type level. We usually maintain the withholding tax amounts at the type level. So these are the things that we specify using the withholding tax type. So this we defined it yesterday. Think yeah. So till yesterday we have covered this, and today we'll do the balance configuration, and then we'll see. And then we'll try to post an invoice and see how the system is computing the withholding tax. Uh, so the next step is defining the withholding tax code. Same path under calculation, you can see the withholding tax code. Define withholding tax codes. Select this. Click on new entries. This withholding tax codes are always created with reference to withholding tax type. So whatever the withholding tax type you define, we have to select that. So ours is T1. Just go further down. I will also create the withholding tax code with T1 only. It's not that it has to be the same. You can create with a different code also, but for our easy understanding, I'm selecting a 2-digit indicator with the same name, T1. So keys you want to deduct it. So I've created one official tax key, that is withholding tax key, that is 194Z, that is commission and brokerage. Give a description. Here we're specifying on base amount how much you want to apply. So whatever is the invoice amount, on that amount apply 100%. If I mean, just take an example. If the law says that only on 80% of the invoice you have to compute the withholding tax, then you specify 80%. If it says on 50%, then you specify 50%. So this is the base amount, that is on which amount you want to compute the withholding tax. So I'm saying that 100% of the invoice, whatever is the invoice value, on that take that base as 100 and compute the withholding tax. Second, this is the posting indicator. So in this posting indicator, select the posting indicator 1. So we'll see what is posting indicator 1. It says standard posting bank vendor customer line reduced. It means that if you select 1, whatever the withholding tax the system is computing, it will reduce that value from that customer invoice, and we want that. So always select 1. So it means here what it says that standard posting bank vendor customer and reduce, that is what system will do is that if the withholding tax amount is 100 and the invoice amount is 1000, then system what will do, vendor will be only shown as 900 and 100 will be shown as the withholding tax. So this would happen only if you select the posting indicator as 1. So always select posting indicator as 1. And now here you specify on this 100% on how much withholding tax you want to deduct. So I said that in my scenario I'm saying that deduct 10% of withholding tax. So I will specify percentage as 10. That is, if the vendor invoice amount is 1000, on 1000 system would compute a withholding tax of 10%. If it is But fractions you can specify here, but you will take withholding tax rate as 10%. You can also specify, this is for reporting purpose, so you can specify the region also. So you can select the state. I'll select Karnataka. You can specify the income type also, what are defined. So I'll select this brokerage. Just press enter and just click on save. Just always remember, withholding tax codes are always created with reference to withholding tax type. Here we specify the withholding tax key. We specify the base amount, that is, usually it will always 100%, that is whatever the invoice amount, that on that whole 100%, I'm asking the system to compute the withholding tax. And also I'm specifying that what are the tax that is getting computed. I'm telling the system to reduce that amount from the customer or from the vendor invoice, because I've selected the posting indicator as 1. And next I'm specifying the percentage, that is, if the vendor invoice is for 1,000, the system would compute 10% as withholding tax. So this is the setting that I'm doing it here. Just click on save, come back. Sorry. Click on this company code settings. So whatever the withholding tax type you have defined, we have to assign it to our company code. So assign withholding tax types to company code. This is our next step. Click on new entries. Give your company code T001, T001. Withholding tax type is T1. Recipient type individual. Select this vendor data withholding tax agent. Applies from which period you want to deduct this withholding tax. So I'm specifying 1/4/2021. I'll specify 1/01/04/2021 till 31/12/2999. So this is valid till to 9. I mean, so yeah, so this is valid till 9999, and you will give our, and here I will give our. I mean, T is the one TAN number, not the vendor's TAN number. So I'll say T. You can just give any dummy number. So here I'm link. So here I'm linking my under. I'm linking the withholding tax type, whatever defined in my previous steps. Just click on continue. Similarly, I will
Sir,
just
here we are assigning our withholding tax type to company code, sir.
yes, you can see withholding
We,
tax and also the recipient type. So what I will do, I have defined 3 recipient types: individual, partnership, others. So I'll just assign. I will also link up that also. Go back one step. Select this and copy. Hmm. Bank it must become okay. You can assign only one. Sorry, yeah. So T001. So just assign your so just assign the withholding tax type and the recipient type only T1. We'll see this recipient type we will be assigning in the BP master data. So I've just assigned one. It doesn't accept more than one. So it's only based on the withholding tax type it will accept it. So no, not an issue. Uh, uh, so whatever the withholding tax type you are defined, I have assigned to my company code. Let me go back again. Financial accounting global settings, withholding tax, external withholding tax, company code. So we have assigned it, and okay. So in this step I have assigned it. What are the withholding tax type which I have defined to my company code. Next step is you have to activate the withholding tax. You have to select this activate external withholding tax. Just come and give your company code. My company code is T001. Just select this external withholding tax activation and just click on save. Just ignore that message. Click on postings. Posting is nothing but to which GL accounts, whatever the withholding tax that is computed, to which GL account that should get posted. So here we define the accounts. Go to accounts of withholding tax. Here define accounts for withholding tax to be paid over. Give your chart of accounts. Select this withholding tax type and code. Click on save. So here based on this withholding tax type and code, you have to maintain the GL account. So my withholding tax type is T1. My withholding tax code is also here also T1. So if I just come here, what is T1? So this is withholding tax type. This is tax type and this is tax code. So I've selected both T1 and I will specify to which GL account tax gets posted. So what I will do, I will just create one GL account, FS00. See, this is a liability that is uh, that is on behalf of the vendor. You're deducting it and you have to remit it to the government. So this is a liability account. Because you have to pay it back to the government, it's not an asset. So we have to create one GL account under the liabilities. So we'll see T001 advance rent payment. So 2 series is our liability account. So I will create one GL account with 20010. Click on create. Balance sheet account. Liability. Say withholding tax. Withholding tax. Withholding tax on commission and brokerage. So click on control data. Select this account as open item management. You can give sort key as 001, create back interest, and give Z00 YB01. And just click on save. This 210, just go here and assign it. Click on save.
Sir, can you please show me the steps that I'm unable to follow? What did we do? We are just assigning to chart of accounts, and then why we are creating a GL account, sir? Here, please. Can you please
No, we
explain?
have to see so Based on the settings, the system would compute the withholding tax, right? For example, if the invoice amount is 1,000, you have given the tax percentage as 10, so the system would detect that withholding tax, but you also have to specify to which GL account it has to post, right? So we have
Okay. Yes.
so we are creating one GL account. Now what would happen is that when the similarly in sales tax, what we did, we defined a procedure, we created the account keys, and for that account keys, we link the GL account. So similarly here also, we are telling the system that based on this withholding tax type and tax code, we are telling the system that whatever is the withholding tax that is deducted, compute that and link, and while posting it, link call this GL account. So post that against this GL account. So since we have to this entry will come automatically. So based on this setting, so it will always call this GL account. You don't have to go and enter the GL account. See, for input tax and output tax also, system was automatically computing the tax, and the GL account was getting computed. It was called automatically. So similarly here also, here we have to specify when you detect the withholding tax, what GL account should be called up. So I'm telling to system, call this GL account by the time of posting. So automatically, whenever the withholding tax got detected, the system would always post to this GL account. You don't have to enter it. So you don't have to manually enter it. System will based on the configuration whatever we did, the system would always post to this GL account. If you don't want, create a new tag it create a new GL account and then assign it. So what are the mapping you do here, based on that the system would always post that withholding tax amount to this GL account. So that's the reason what I did. I've created one GL account under liability section, because this is on behalf of, that is on behalf of vendor you are deducting it, so you have to pay this amount to the income tax department, so it is a liability account. So therefore I've created one GL account with liability, with name as withholding tax on brokerage and commission. Under the control data, I've just selected open item management, and I've selected YB0, that is the general data. That is the one which I usually use for our regular GL accounts. So what I did is just create it and map it here.
Yes, sir. Understood, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, okay. So just here this GL account, it's to this GL account the postings would happen, that's it. So whatever the computation is done, it will always post to this GL account. In production also you'll have the same thing. You'll also specify which GL account it got posted, and based on the settings, the system will always call this GL account. Yeah. So this is the next step. So we have done the postings also. We have specified to which GL account the system has to post that value. And there's only one last step left behind. Let me go back. Go to SPRO, Logistics General. Tax on goods movement, India, basic settings, maintain company code settings. Click on new entries, give your company code T001. Our first month starts from April. So I'm selecting April, press enter, and just save. That's it. So these are the only steps that we do with respect to withholding tax. Now we are done with the withholding tax. What we'll do is that we will map the withholding tax code type and code in the BP master data, and then we'll try to post an invoice. The system will automatically start calculating the withholding tax. So from the configuration point of view, we have done the entire settings. Now what we'll do is that we'll check the end user part. That is, we'll try to map the withholding tax types, whatever you define, to the BP master data, and then we'll try to post an invoice and see whether the system is deducting the withholding tax amount or not. So I'll select BP. I'll go to BP. Uh, Click on open. You can always select this also. I'll select this BP 42000401. Click on start. Select. Double click on it. It's already in change mode, so I'm not doing any change. Here you can see there's a new tab. So select the role as FLV and 00, because what these are again maintained at the company code level. So this withholding tax types, what are the configuration what we do? These are maintained at the company code level. So always select the role as FLV and 00. Press enter, and the moment you enter, you can see we have a separate tab called as withholding tax. You can see this the vendor withholding tax. Select this tab. So come here and assign the tax type and tax code which are defined. So we have defined the withholding tax type as T1, tax code also T1. Select the subject to. Here we said I told right we will be assigning the withholding tax type. So come here. If this business partner is one minute. If this business partner is BP, you will assign you will assign company. If it is an individual, you will assign individual. If it is a partnership firm, you will assign a partnership firm. If it is others, you will assign others. I mean, if you cannot classify, you will select it as others. So this is the company. Since this is the company, I'm selecting T1, and here you will be maintaining the vendors withholding tax ID. That is the tag number. So I will say T123455. Click on continue. Click on save. Ignore this message. So this is the step that you do with respect to withholding tax. And remember, not all the vendors are will be maintaining this withholding tax. Only for those vendors for whom we have to deduct the withholding tax. Only for those vendors will be maintaining it. It's not that for each and every vendor will be deducting it. So since this is only for those vendors such as to whom we pay some commission, brokerage, or rent, only for those vendors will be maintaining this withholding tax settings. So because other vendors might be with which we will doing our regular business, but withholding tax is only applicable for few vendors with whom we pay some commission, brokerage, or interest. So only for those vendors this setting would be applicable. So select only for those vendors. We'll come here. We'll maintain the withholding tax type code. We'll activate this subject to, and then we'll assign the code here. The recipient type here, and the withholding tax ID. That is the tax identification number of the vendor. Will be linking it up here, and just click on save, and that's it. So we are good with the configuration settings. What I will do is that I'll try to post one invoice and see whether the system is computing the withholding tax of 10% or not. I will copy this vendor. I will go to AP60 again. There might be some few errors, but we'll just fix it so that you also understand what errors might come up when the business user tries to enter the invoice. I will select the date as 111. Give any reference number 11. I'll keep the posting data same. I'm entering the amount of 10,000. I will select a GL account. Oh, this is a nice one. D001. 10,000. Select the GL account from the drop down list. It's giving message that vendor is subject to withholding tax. Okay. Click on simulate. Okay, there should be a message coming up. Oh wow. Yeah. I did a mistake. Just give me. It is computing like this, but I will just show in 1 minute. Just go. Let me go back. Let me rekey it again one more time. FB60. Give your vendor, invoice date, reference, amount. Here you can see this business place and section. So what are the business place and section we define? You have to always ensure that you enter this details. So my business place is T001 and section code T001. So what are the business place and section code we defined? We'll get that. We have to enter it here and enter that GL account, rent, uh, enter that amount 10,000. Enter that cost center details. So this is the withholding tax field that would come automatically, but I'll show in another screen. Just click on basic data, click on simulate. So here you can see if we are posting an invoice for 1,000, but you can see the system is deducting 1,000 rupees from a vendor line and it's transferring to withholding tax, commission, brokerage, because we told to the system that whenever you compute the percentage, deduct that value, deduct whatever the amount that is deducted. I mean whatever is computed, deduct that from your from the vendor line, and it post it to a different line. So that is the reason it has. So on 10,000, 10% is 1,000, but we are telling the system to deduct 1,000 from the vendor line item. Therefore, it's coming as 9,000, and it's showing a separate line, that is what are the amount that is deducted. It's showing us withholding tax on brokerage as 1,000. So this is how the system would compute. What I will do is that I will not post it here. Okay, I'll try to post, and then we'll try to post with a different document with a different transaction code also. Just click on post. It gets so it got posted, but I will show with a different. Well, this was with FB60. I will try to post with one more transaction code F-43. There, I will try to show how we can enter that base amount also. If I just come here 2211, same thing whatever I did here, I will do it one more time. Select that vendor, give that amount. Here this business place and section code would come. Select business place, section code. Give the GL account. Where is that? Rent. Yeah. I was telling to you, right, that I mean, okay, let me go back to my settings. I'll try to explain it. I'm going back to one minute, SPRO. Financial accounting, accounts receivable account, sorry, financial accounting global settings, withholding tax, external withholding tax, calculation, withholding tax type for invoice posting. So I've selected T1, right? In T1, I've specified that withholding tax base manual, withholding tax amount, and no certificate number ranging, number certificate number. They should be available for business users to, they can manually change it. So since I've selected these three check boxes, you're able to see the base amount and this tax amount. Both are in change mode, so the business users can enter these values, and this is coming based on this setting. So I've selected this checkbox, therefore this is not graded out, and the users can do this, can manually enter that value. So based on this setting, it is coming. So I'm saying that just ignore it. I am entering that value as 10,000 and giving the cost center, press enter. I'm sorry. Let me check. Press enter. Give some text. Click on simulate. Document. Simulate. Automatically, system has reduced, and this is from where the setting is coming is. Go back to our configuration. Go back to withholding tax type with the tax code. Withholding tax code. Define withholding tax code. Give your company code IN. Select T1. Click on new and click on this details. So I'm specifying that here the percentage is 10. So and the whole and specifying the base amount is 100. That is on 10,000. That is the invoice amount that I entered. So on that 10,000, take that whole 10,000. So 100% of 10,000 is 10,000. On that you calculate 10 percentage. So it is computing it on 10,000. 10% is 1,000. And I'm setting in this posting indicator. If I have selected one, so if one is nothing but standard bank posting, I'm telling what system will do that it will reduce the line items reduce. So it means that whatever the tax amount that has been computed, it will reduce that line. So that's because we have selected the indicator as one. What system is doing is whatever the value that is 1,000 rupees, that is whatever the value is getting computed, system is reducing that value 1,000 rupees from vendor line item, and it's posting to this GL account 200 So it is posting this GL account, and this GL account is coming based on the posting rules that we have defined. If I go back again to my settings, if I go to my wait, postings, so here specified that for both the combination, that is for withholding tax type and code, it should post to 200,110. So based on that setting, automatically system has called up. You didn't enter this GL. Automatically based on the withholding tax type which was assigned to this vendor, system has called up this GL and it's posting automatically this GL account. Just click on save. Click on display. Select this vendor line. Click on this withholding tax data. So it will tell you how the system has computed it. So the base amount was 10,000. The percentage was 10. On that it's computing 10,000 10 percentage. So this is how the system would compute it. So if you're getting this screen, it means that your settings are correct. If you miss miss something, the system would not compute, and you will get an error. It will not do this configuration. I mean, it will not compute the value, and it will just give you a message. It will not. I mean, the screen, that pop-up screen will not come up. I mean, when we try to post, when pop-up screen came, where it was showing the withholding tax amount, all those details, that won't come, and the system will not compute. So if your settings are correct, then only this value will get computed. So this is how we'll be defining the withholding tax. This is the settings, and what are the withholding tax you have defined. You have to link, you have to maintain it to the to that specific BP master data. So apart from configuration, this is the place where we where we maintain it, and from this the system understands that only this vendor is up, I mean for this vendor the withholding tax has to be deducted. So based on this setting only, the system will understand that whenever we post invoices for this vendor, the system has to deduct the withholding tax. If I remove this, the system will not compute this withholding tax. Just because I've maintained the entry here, the system will understand this with this vendor is eligible for withholding tax, and I will deduct the withholding tax amount. Any questions till whatever we have covered? I mean, how this value is getting determined, or how this GL is getting determined before moving forward? Any questions? Are you able to understand, or you have any, or you want to? I mean, any questions by anyone on this part? How the system is computing the withholding tax?
No, sir.
We'll okay. We'll try. Okay, what we can do. Yeah. What we will do is that tomorrow we will take this accumulation time. That is, we'll take the scenario accumulation time where the system would accumulate some value, and once that value is reached, then only the system would deduct the withholding tax. So we will see that scenario, and also the payment posting. That is, we only covered only the invoicing part. We'll also see the payment posting. So once we do the payment, how the system would deduct the withholding tax. So we'll see that scenario. I mean, if you just do that, just follow the steps, and if it posted, then the system would start computing the withholding tax. The most important thing is this is only the withholding tax type in this place. If you define withholding types correctly, then the system would compute the values, and then you can see the output. Sometimes in my, I mean, when I was using my last system, there was also an error message on the PAN account number not maintained. But where I thought I will just show you that error, but this time it was not showing, it was not popping that error. But if you get that error, just go to general data. Under tax details, we will be maintaining the PAN number. Where is this? This, I mean, in last classes it was throwing that error message. We have to maintain the PAN, but let me just. Yeah. So under this one, in this tab, vendor country specific, we'll be maintaining the vendor PAN number. So here it is. Here it is the place where you will come and maintain the PAN number. But this time it was not. I mean, it will, when you're trying to post FB60 or F-43 for withholding tax, it usually throws that error message. But in this system, I don't know why that error is not coming. But if it comes, you have to come to the general data in the vendor country specific tab. You can see this India withholding tax. You can just maintain the PAN number, and that's it. I mean, if nobody has a question, we'll stop here, and tomorrow we'll see the accumulation type and also the withholding tax. I mean, for the payment posting, that is what, how, I mean, in case if you're making advance posting, how that withholding tax gets posted, and how that value gets nullified when we post an invoice. Similarly, like advance, I mean, where we saw that initially we did an advance, and later when we posted an invoice, we transferred that value. So similarly, what would happen in payment posting? We initially, this at the time of payment, the system would compute the withholding tax, but at time of adjustment, what the system does is it will reverse that. I mean, it will reverse the withholding tax that was posted at the time of payment. So we'll see that scenario, that the whole cycle tomorrow, and probably tomorrow will complete the withholding tax part, and we'll pick up a new topic. So tomorrow we'll cover the payment posting, the what do you call this one, the accumulation, and the minimum and maximum. So these three things I will just show tomorrow, and then we can wind up the withholding tax part. I have already, this document is ready, both the foreign currency and the withholding tax. I will share it. I will share today. You can also check and you can also do the practice. I've prepared it. You can. I mean, I will ask her to share, and then you can just go through that and you can start practicing it. Uh, on request, try to concentrate more on the FI. I mean, you can just explain the same thing. I mean, once you get into a project, whatever you have learned, you will see the same settings there also, with a little bit change. But that is around 20% that will be changed. Some additional settings they would have done, but the basic configuration what I'm showing you on the system, you will find the same settings there also. So in your interview also, if somebody asks, you tell that I worked on withholding tax. These are the configuration steps which I've done, and these are the withholding tax types I have created it. You can explain the withholding tax type. You can explain the advance. I mean the special GL transactions you have created. You can explain the tax codes which you have created for tax on sales and purchases, the business partner configuration settings, the whole enterprise structure. Um yeah, so you can tell that these are the areas that I've worked on, and if some questions come, you should be able to answer it. Yeah. So you can also tell that you have worked on AR. So with I mean whatever I'm covering with that, you should be able to support, or you can do an implementation project easily, with minimum with least assistance from other team members. Yeah, because whatever you do here, the same thing you'll be doing in the client system also. So we'll stop here. We'll continue tomorrow, and tomorrow we'll understand the payment part, and again this accumulation, and how to maintain the minimum and maximum. So these three things we'll cover tomorrow, and then we'll wrap it up with the withholding tax. Once this is done, we will start AR, uh, that is accounts receivable. We are only left with one topic in accounts payable, that is APP, that's automatic payment run. We'll try to do the whole. That will take a 2-hour session, so we'll do it on Saturday. So we'll just park that APP for Saturday, and we'll just pick up tomorrow. I mean, day after tomorrow we'll start the ER part, the accounts receivable part. So account receivable is nothing but it's just opposite of accounts payable. Whatever you've learned in accounts payable, you will again you will run the same thing again with in AR. And here we do the settings for vendor. We'll do the similar same settings for the customer. So whatever you did in AP, you'll do the same settings in AR also. So day after tomorrow we'll start the AR part, and on Saturday we will see the entire accounts payable module. That is the automatic payment run part. So stop here, and then we'll meet again tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thanks all. Bye.